Am I the asshole for refusing to repair my relationship with my stepmother? I, 17 female. Legally live with my mother, 41 female. Since he and my father, 47 male, divorced in 2016. Both my mom and my dad has had several relationships since then and I liked all of those. My mom got together with his now boyfriend and around that time my dad got together with his now wife, 40 female, who I'll call BB, was a very nice and sweet woman when I first met her. She already had a son, 11 male, when he met my dad. So things went great for a while. But then B got pregnant in the beginning of 2021, which gave another reason for her and my dad to get married. I was happy for them and was very excited to have another brother. However, as time went on B's pregnancy did too and she became pregnant at risk, so she had to stop working a lot earlier than usual. And that's when it all started going downhills. She became insufferable. She started insulting everyone. She even managed to yell at my then boyfriend right after he asked me to become his girlfriend with a reason still unknown. She started disrespecting everyone, so obviously me too. But I tried my best to ignore it all. That's what my dad advised us to do too, blaming her attitude and behavior on the pregnancy, and I said fine. When she finally gave birth to my half-brother, 1.5 male, we thought it was over. Oh boy, were we wrong. My half-brother was barely 3 months old when my dad told me B was pregnant again. I, again, underestimated B by thinking that it couldn't get any worse because it did. It so did. Because she not only became pregnant at risk again, a loud, non-stop crying baby was by her side now too. And this time, she wasn't rude to everyone, only me. And yes, I admit I wasn't and am not the perfect stepdaughter, but I was dealing with mental health issues such as anxiety, depression and anorexia, and she knew it all. And she not only didn't care about all this, she even called out how lazy I was, how useless I was, and always said I was a nightmare and wished I didn't exist. Wished I nd myself already. The worst thing about these insults wasn't the insults themselves but that my dad never said anything. One time she was so mad I ate the last yogurt in the fridge. That's all I ate that day because of her following sentence. She threatened me with $0 at ing me that night with a pillow. By the time she went into labor I didn't want to look in her eyes or say one word to her. It's been 6 months and B stayed the same narcissistic asshole. She apologized to my dad for her behavior during and post-pregnancy but never said a word to me. She asked my dad to talk to me about forgiving her. When I told my dad I intend on staying silent, he got really mad at me and refuses to accept my point and wants to force me to apologize to her. Now I'm the evil stepdaughter who wants her stepmother gone in the family. Honestly, the statement is true. I want her gone. So dear Redditors, please help me decide because I seriously don't know what to think at this point. Am I really the asshole in the story? Not the asshole you deserve for her to step up and apologize and make amends. You were abused. She abused you. Your dad allowed it. It would not be out of line for you to refuse to see or talk to either one of them, especially since they are now abusing you again. She is the evil stepmother who mistreated her stepdaughter, and he is the spineless father who allowed you to be abused and now has started attacking you himself. I hope that you can talk to your mom about this. As someone with a dad who won't stand up to my stepmom or hear my feelings about her either, your dad sucks. Wow, your dad is as much on a hole as your stepmother is flushed, not the asshole. This woman has some serious issues. For your own mental health I hope you can leave her behind. Not the asshole. And B sums her up perfectly. He married her. She's his problem. Stick to staying at mom's, and write that household off until dad finds his next wife. Info. Did you tell your father about the threat? Am I the asshole for complaining my wife is not supportive despite me supporting her choices for 5+ years? I, 35M, married my wife, 33F, 9 years ago. We both worked, she has a career, I had 3 jobs, so between us we made good money. We said before getting married that our money would go into one pot and not be split into mine and yours. 6 years ago my wife began talking about having children. She said that raising children was what she wanted more than anything in the world, and she was adamant that it was best for her to stay at home to raise the children, citing studies and statistics from numerous countries. We decided to try for children and were lucky enough that she fell pregnant. During her pregnancy she repeatedly told friends and family how she was going to be a stay-at-home mom. Shortly after son 1 was born, my wife decided she no longer wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She had a career that offers progression, whereas I just had jobs. I was taken back by this given all the talk of being a stay-at-home mom. But I supported her career and I agreed with all her reasons for a parent raising a child rather than childcare, so I became a stay-at-home dad. I drove her to work and picked her up from work every day as she doesn't drive. I worked at night when I could. I did all the washing, cooking and cleaning every chore. We had son 2 years later. At this point I stopped working at night. 2 children are exhausting. Especially during COVID lockdowns. Son 2 started school in January. Around this time, I began speaking with a friend about his career in something that I find interesting. It's better paid than my previous 3 jobs combined. I'd enjoy it more, work less, and he assured me that with some effort I could work in the industry. I spoke with my wife about taking time to do this. She said I had 3 months and then I would have to go back to my old work. We are completely financially secure. We own our house with no mortgage. We own an additional property that we let, both purchased equally after marrying, and we have savings. Those 3 months have obviously gone, but I'm now very close to being in a position to start looking for work in my friend's industry. Part of that delay is multiple holidays, part is me doing lots of home improvements, part is me getting myself back in shape after 5 years of not having time, and part is it just taking longer than I anticipated. For the entirety of this time, my wife has repeatedly stated that I'm lazy and clearly don't want to work, and that I should just go back to my old line of work. It came up this morning and I said that I've supported her career for years and that, if we were to begin to struggle financially, then I would immediately go back to my old work, but, since we can afford to, could I not just spend a little longer trying to line up a career for myself that I'd enjoy? I said considering how much I've supported her and done things her way, she's being very unsupportive. She wasn't very happy about this. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You helped your wife with her career, now it's her turn to support yours. I'd say she is unfairly told you are lazy, because working 3 jobs and working at nights is exhausting and not healthy. So, one day you won't be young and strong anymore to do it. You do need new career to be able to provide for your family long term. If she is smart, she must understand it. Could it be that she wants to be leader in family using her successful career? Because I don't see any valid reason to disapprove what you are doing. She wanted kids. You agreed. She wanted to be a som. You agreed. She changed her mind and wanted to go back to her career. You agreed. You're financially secure and own 2 homes. You decide, hey, I'd like to be more fulfilled with work. Maybe I could try XYZ. You put in work towards a portfolio, take advice from a friend in the industry and decide you want to try. It's not guaranteed, but you may as well give it your best shot. She disagrees. You're not the asshole. She isn't being supportive even though she got the luxury of being supported in her choices time and time again. You're far from being on Skid Row financially, so you can afford to try. Not the asshole if your side of the story is completely accurate and you will soon be ready to move on to your new career. Not the asshole it seems like it's her way or the highway. More info needed. Are you still doing majority of housework? Will the new job allow you to pick her up? Am I the asshole for not letting my daughter get her license? I, F43, am the mother of 3 children, but this post is about my oldest, Layla, F15. Layla used to be the classic exceptional child. Good grades, lots of friends, played sports, involved in a couple of clubs, etc. Please know that I never pushed her to do anything she didn't want to do. In fact, I always made sure she knew that she didn't need to be so involved if it ever became too overwhelming. Her health and happiness mattered to me and her dad more than anything else. Within the last 2 years, she has completely changed. First it started with poor grades and dropping out of everything. Then she started skipping class, sneaking out of the house to meet up with her boyfriends, no dating until 16 in our house, and has even ended up drunk at a party. We've tried to be softer, stricter, even tried family and personal counseling, but nothing has worked. We have asked her over and over what has changed and what we can do to help her, but she refuses to answer. She asked me recently when I am taking her to get her permit, and I told her when she starts showing me that she is capable of handling such a responsibility. She thought I was joking at first, but then I reminded her of everything within the last couple of years and told her that I do not trust her with keys and a car and won't be trusted until she can prove otherwise. She started screaming at me, saying that it's her right to drive at 16. I corrected her saying it's a privilege and as her parent it's my responsibility to protect her. She ran to her room and hasn't been out in a few hours, except to use the bathroom. My husband, M45, agrees with me on the decision, but my sister, F35, says that I am wrong for doing this and that a teenager's past should not disrupt her future. Am I the asshole? Edit. A lot of people asked if I have explained to her how to gain my trust back. I have tried along with her therapist, BTW. We have been to 3 because they can't get through to her, to set goals and find a solution. I don't expect her to be the way she was before. All I ask is for good grades, and if she is struggling somewhere, we'll get a tutor. Mind the curfew, no sneaking out and no drinking, drugs. She admitted to her therapist and me a couple of weeks ago that she has no intention of doing any of those things. There has been no improvement in her behavior, but it hasn't gotten worse, so I guess that's a good thing. To answer another question, we have seen psychologists, not psychiatrists. All of the therapists we have seen have just referred us to someone else. I have not thought about seeing a psychiatrist as I am weary of certain medications. I am not saying we refuse all medication. I have just seen too many stories about children and teens being given too much and it makes everything worse. However, for the sake of my daughter, I will speak with my husband about this and see if we can find a good psychiatrist. Did you ever ask her what was going on in her life that all this change happened? I've seen girls fall off this cliff before. Some of them were sexually assaulted and it wrecked everything. Info: is she dealing with depression? Not the asshole, but you should really communicate with her and tell her what she should improve in her life to make you feel like she is capable of such a responsibility. Not the asshole, and you're absolutely correct. Driving is a privilege, not a right. Not the asshole, but you need to communication expectations to her of what she need to do to earn your trust. Am I the asshole for trying to force my friends to clean up after my party? My F35 birthday was a week ago. Since I work a lot right now, I didn't plan anything, thinking I could invite some friends and families out for a simple lunch picnic or something later. When I got home from work on Friday afternoon, I was surprised with a small gathering. Some of my friends had planned and cooked for a barbecue in my small garden. It was absolutely lovely. Food was delicious, drinks lovely and cute, non-alcoholic 'cause I don't drink, and they decorated my place and garden cat-themed. Even my grumpy old cat had a little bow tie. Love cats. Anyhow, night was amazing and they all left happy. The morning after, I began work at 6:30 and only plowed through the mess left behind, thinking they'd be in contact later about the cleaning since it was their party. I'm currently saving up for a car, and so I'm working 2 jobs on the weekends and sometimes the rest of the week too. At 14:30 I got home to change my clothes, eat something and rush away to job number 2. Nobody had still not contacted me about cleaning and my house was still a mess with piling dishes, trash and furniture needing to be moved back. Still thinking they would help, I sent a text asking which time they planned on coming by to help with the cleanup. I would be home about 8. Didn't get answers except from one saying she was working today and tomorrow. My Sunday looks the same, and since I didn't get an answer, I sent another text asking for help with the cleanup, adding I'll work 10 hours on both Monday and Tuesday, so this evening would be easiest if they're busy with work on those days. Got some answers about how they didn't have time right now. They needed to rest for the workweek, didn't have babysitters, and they wasn't involved in the planning. This really made me upset. I didn't ask for a party. I specifically told them that I didn't have time for a party at the moment, but now I'm stuck with cleaning up after a party. Sue: on Sunday evening after work at 8, I texted again, asking who wanted to come over to help. Not a single soul answered. The dishes had began to smell at this point, so I didn't want to leave it any longer. I don't have a dishwasher and the cleanup took forever. When done after a few hours, I sent a text. I know I was a bit snarky. I essentially texted, "I've cleaned everything by myself, no need for you guys to come over and help." I'm aware I'm the asshole for that text, but I was exhausted and just wanted to sleep. On Monday my phone blew up with upset texts on how they planned to help me, that I could have wait, that I wasn't fair, and that I'm too pushy needing to have everything done at my place and way. I'm shocked. I didn't know my friends thought of me like that. I have no interest in seeing them right now, but I'm thinking I might be the asshole. Maybe cleanup isn't something you asks about after a part? So, Reddit. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. The hosts are responsible for the cleanup. This is common sense and common courtesy. Your friends should have cleaned up their party before they left your house that night. Maybe plan a party with lots of glitter and confetti at theirs? And do not forget the extensive moving of furniture. Party popper, party popper, party popper, confetti, confetti, confetti. Not the asshole. Your friends definitely are though. It's really bizarre how they wouldn't clean after a party they planned. After all, isn't cleaning also part of the organization? You shouldn't have even needed to ask them. Not the asshole. You need to tell them that the party that they threw for themselves in your honor at your place was not requested. What began as a nice surprise turned into a nightmare of house chores because everyone made a mess and left you to clean it. Any future plans will require your approval, or they will all be asked to leave as soon as you arrive because your house is not a party place with a cleaning staff, but that's exactly how they treated it. Edit. Thanks for the award. I would like to dedicate it to all the people who created the monster before you today. Grin. Not the asshole, but after their first round of excuses for not being able to help I would have sucked it up and cleaned, rather than waiting for the dishes to start to smell. Sorry, but that's just gross.